Welcome to section 6.1. Today is full of awesome surprises. Are you ready? Okay. I know you think it's not, but it really is, I promise. Okay, so today we're going to talk about parallelograms. Going to start out with a definition. I know, it's the Targus t-shirt. The same one your mom has, which is awesome. But it's only one of the awesome surprises. You'll get the other one in a second. So we're talking about parallelograms. I'm going to start out with a definition so I can emphasize what is technically the definition of parallelograms, because if we're not talking about it being the definition of parallelograms, then you can't use that as your rule. You'll have to mean as your reasons in your proof. You'll have to use these as your reasons in your proof. So, definition of parallelogram is a quadrilateral with two pairs of parallel sides. Did you catch it? Did you see the other surprise for today? Do I need to do it again? Okay, maybe not. Maybe you. Okay, so other special properties include opposite sides that are congruent. So in other words, these are congruent to these, and this is congruent to that. Opposite angles that are congruent. So this angle is congruent to that angle, and this angle is congruent to that angle. Diagonals form, there's an M there, I promise. Diagonals form two congruent triangles. So when I draw in this diagonal, we get a triangle up here that is congruent to the triangle down here. Or if I were to draw in this diagonal, you'd have a triangle over here that's congruent to a triangle up there. And then consecutive angles are supplementary. So this whole angle plus that whole angle, that has to equal 180. And this whole angle plus that whole angle has to equal 180. And this whole angle plus that whole angle has to equal 180. And this whole angle plus that whole angle has to equal 180. Consecutive angles are supplementary. And diagonals bisect each other. So once I draw this in, that means that this little segment is congruent to that little segment, and this little segment is congruent to that little segment. Better add those so you don't think they're congruent to the outside ones. So those are the rules that we have set up for this one, which I could go into a lot more detail on, but I don't really think you need any more detail on because it's a lot of rules to remember. And now I need you to practice with those rules to remember. So I have this classwork set up already for you. This is the classwork. Feel free to go ahead and pause it and work on it. Let me read them for you just to make sure that you understand. Number 1 says to find the measure of angle D, the measure of angle C, and the measure of angle B. 2 says to draw DB and AC. In the figure, label the points where they cross T. 3 says to list all congruent triangles that have side DB. 4 says to list all congruent triangles that have side AC. If AB equals 18 and AD equals 10, find the perimeter of the parallelogram. If AT equals X, DT equals X plus Y, TB equals 5Y minus 4, and TC equals 3Y, find the perimeter of triangle ABC. Are triangles ADT and triangle BCT congruent, why or why not? And then number 8 is what triangle is congruent to triangle ABT? So yeah, you can go ahead and pause. I'm going to erase. And then after I'm done erasing, I'm going to go ahead and answer the question. So yeah, there's that. It's all on you to pause. Whoops. Not on me to pause. I just needed some space to work them out in. So yeah. I think I'm gonna do blue in honor of TARDIS Day for me. TARDIS, TARDIS Day? Aerodome? Just saying. Okay, fine. They wanted you to find the measure of angle D, measure of angle C, and measure of angle B, and we just learned that consecutive angles have to be supplementary and that opposite angles have to be, I didn't tell you it was a parallelogram, but it's a parallelogram, and opposite angles have to be congruent. So measure of angle B is going to equal 60 degrees. Measure of angle C equals 120 degrees. And the measure of angle D equals 60 degrees. That was simple enough. Number 2 was to draw stuff. So this is me drawing stuff. I'm labeling that 10. I can go ahead and take out my 120 now, I think. I'm labeling that T, not 10. Number 3 wanted me to list all congruent triangles with side DB. So DB is part of triangle ABD, going from here to there to there. So from obtuse angle to teeny tiny angle to middle angle. So that has to be congruent to triangle obtuse angle C, teeny tiny angle D, middle angle B. Make sure you get them in the right order. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Number 4, list all congruent triangles with side AC. So that'll be triangle ADC. Going from what is at the big side to what was the small side, or what we know is alone, all the way to the other side of the diagonal, is congruent with triangle what is at the big side, which is C, to what was our angle alone, which is B, DBA. You have to make sure your angles match up. That's the big takeaway. Make sure your angles match up. It doesn't have A in the same spot. It doesn't have C in the same spot because those angles don't match up for congruent triangles. So for number 5, I'm going to go ahead and put some stuff up here so that I can see it. It says if AB is 18, that's that one, and AD is 10, that's this one. That means this one over here has to be 10, and this one down here has to be 18. They want to know what the perimeter is. And we get that the perimeter is 56. And then for number 6, we actually got some real work to do now. They say AT is X. They say DT is X plus Y. They say TB is 5y minus 4, and that TC is 3y. Well, this is what I know. I know that when we have two diagonals in here, that it has to create some congruent pieces. So x has to be equal to 3y. So I'm going to go ahead and write that. And the other one is x plus y has to equal 5y minus 4. I'm going to use this fact since I know what x is, because x is 3y. It's not, I don't know what number it is, but I know something that it equals. I'm going to use this fact and plug it in over here. That means that 3y plus y has to equal 5y minus 4. And now I can figure out what y is. So that is 4y equals 5y minus 4. Move that over here, negative 1y equals negative 4, so y must equal 4. Now coming back over here, x must equal 12 if y is equal to 4. Use this fact over here to solve that one to come back to this one. Simultaneous equation. Now that I know that x is 12, I can start putting some stuff in up here. So if x is 12, that makes this side 12. And this must be 12. And up here, x plus y is 16, which means this must be 16. 20 minus 4 is 16. Okay. Now that we have that, what they asked us for is to find the perimeter of ABC. So that's going to be 18 plus 10 plus AC, which is 24. So my perimeter is really equal to 8 and 4 is 12, carry the 1. Did I have to do it to 40, 52? I'm checking it. Give me a second. 3, 4, 5, 52. Yeah, I'll buy that. So my perimeter is 52. So then question number 7. Are triangles ADT congruent to triangles BCT and ADT? And it looks like they should be, right? Because we've got all sides that are congruent to their side. 12 is 12, 16 is 16, and 10 is 10. So it looks like it should be. So we should be good by side to call them congruent triangles, right? No. No. Because they gave us an order, and that is the wrong order. That says that AD has to be congruent to BC, which is true. But then it says that DT also has to be congruent to CT, which is not true. They're not in the right order. No. out of order, but triangle ATD, or I'll use ADT, is congruent to triangle CBT. Oops, there's a triangle sign. By side, side, side. You got to make sure they're in the right order. And then problem number 8. What triangle is congruent to triangle ABT? ABT would be CDT. Okay, that's it for the classwork for this section, which just leads us to the homework for this section. Which is on page 221, numbers 1 through 25 odd. It's not too terribly difficult. They didn't ask you for reasons for any of them, I don't think. So I think you're okay on that. They start asking for reasons in the next section. And I'll see you in the next section. Bye.